Welcome to the SCORE podcast.
If you happen to drive by the Philadelphia skyline this week and you see the city lit up in green and white, don't think it's for the local football team. This honor goes to the Lynx Incorporated. I'm Jeff Richardson, host of the SCORE podcast, where we always speak to the most impactful leaders in the marketplace. This week, some 1,000 professional women from up and down the East Coast will gather in downtown Philadelphia for the historic 47th Eastern Conference of the Lynx Incorporated. The title of this year's conference is Phenomenal Women Who Empower and Elevate. And these incredible women will focus on addressing key issues like poverty, hunger, and food security. I am honored to be joined on the podcast today by Dr. Lisa Lowry Lomas, Eastern Area Director of the Lynx Incorporated. I cannot possibly do enough justice to Dr. Lomas's amazing background in the time we have today, but as an overview, she has worked in the field of psychology for over 30 years and is an expert in human relations and development. She received a BS in psychology and an MA in clinical psychology, focusing on father absence and the effect on self-esteem. And she has a PhD in general psychology with a particular emphasis on applied social psychology and the impact of the imposter phenomenon and self-esteem on development, motivation, and success. She has served in the judicial branch of government as well as academia and the private sector. What an honor it is to have her. Dr. Lomas, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So let's first start with a little bit of background on the Lynx Incorporated. Can you explain what the Lynx Incorporated is and its mission?
The Lynx Incorporated is a nonprofit corporation established in 1946, one of the oldest African-American volunteer service organizations committed to enriching, sustaining, and ensuring the culture and economic survival of African Americans and other people of African ancestry. It's divided into 4 areas. I am the director of the Eastern area, which encompasses almost 5,000 members, and we include Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Virginia, and the United Kingdom. We do programming in 5 areas: services to youth, the arts, national trends and services, international trends and services, and health and human services.
That is an amazing mission, and it's a 47th annual conference. So can you take us through how the organization was founded?
Oh, absolutely. 2 fabulous women in the Philadelphia area, Margaret Hawkins and Sarah Scott, came together with 7 of their friends and decided that giving back to the community through friendship is the way to enhance families, Black communities. And so we are founded on 2 tenets: friendship and service. And they're very critically important to us. We believe that when you're serving with your friends, you truly come together and have transformational impact on communities. And when you serve together, your friendships are enhanced.
That is so true. And I think I want to just dig into a little bit more on the mission with this next question. One of the things we think about and talk about and actually have acted upon is that connection between physical health and financial health. How does the Lynx Incorporated help address these 2 really critical and interrelated issues?
Through financial education, often for our youth and our community constituents. We take a holistic approach for family health, and family financial health is one element of family health, in addition to physical, mental, blood pressure, diabetes, donor Sabbath, all of that. So with the arm of financial health, it's really focused on education, because it's with knowledge that you're able to make different choices and you're able to change things, and behavior then subsequently changes. Recently, we've had 2 partnerships with financial institutions, M Financial and Ally Financial. Those are current. We've historically had some other partnerships as well. With Ally Financial, we have a program called Ally Wallet Wise, and it's a training curriculum to assist with conducting financial education workshops in communities nationwide. As I'd mentioned, the Lynx is divided into 4 areas, and we're international. So the Ally Wallet Wise is a program that all of our chapters across the country and internationally have access to. And with Wallet Wise, it's free. and it teaches consumers the basics of budgeting and credit, banking and investing, and financing a vehicle. The curriculum includes classrooms and online modules. And currently, we have about 34 targeted market areas that Links chapters are focused on.
Wow, that really hits home for VantageScore, as you can imagine. Another program that I wanted to ask you about is something the Eastern area of the Links Incorporated works on, which is called Money Matters. Can you share some details around that program?
Yeah, that too is an educational program, and it assists members and community members. So we educate our members of the organization as well as educating community members, and we have a presence on historical Black colleges and universities, impacting the next generation. That too is about educating people on planning for their future, financial planning. I've done some workshops on how mental health and financial health are inextricably connected. They teach about investments and about generational wealth building and about retirement planning, things like that.
Critical skills to have, and also areas that we're really focused on. And I wouldn't be surprised, listeners, if you didn't hear of a program the Links Incorporated Eastern Area and VantageScore tries to get off the ground in the near future. But that's for another podcast, I suppose.
I'll come back for that one.
Perfect. I love it. So speaking of the podcast, our listeners do tend to work for deep-pocketed financial institutions or actually policy influencers or policymakers themselves. Even if we step back from strictly a focus on financial health, where is the most need? Where should we collectively be focusing our resources to improve the financial health and general well-beings of the communities that the Links is focusing on?
I mentioned our presence in historical Black colleges and universities, and I mentioned to you the 5 facet areas is what we call them, the 5 areas of programming focus. The first of the 5 for our organization was services to youth. We believe when you impact the youth, you impact the future generation, and there's longer impact in the communities. And so donating to historically Black colleges and universities and educating the next generation is a really wonderful way to help support the communities that we service and are focused on. And the youth is all about the podcast, host a podcast dealing with food insecurities and an attempt to garner donations for distribution in underserved communities.
You heard that, listeners, and I also, as a sidebar, have been reading that food banks are struggling mightily. So everybody listening, please bear that in mind as well. So turning our attention to next week in Philadelphia at the conference, what types of discussions will take place? And somehow, the weather is nice. I suspect some fun will be had as well.
Oh, we definitely. Our first tenet is friendship. So we always start with fun for sure. We're really very, very excited about next week. It's our 47th biennial Eastern Area Conference. We are descending upon Philadelphia. There's going to be just over 1,000 people present. The conference theme is Phenomenal Women Who Empower and Elevate. We are being hosted and led by our Keystone Cluster of the Links, which includes our founding chapter, the Philadelphia chapter, and 8 other chapters in Pennsylvania and in Delaware. We have a pre-conference workshop on parliamentary procedure, but the conference itself starts on Wednesday with a service project, because again, we're all about service. We'll be providing food, clothing, personal care products, and financial assistance to families, college students, and senior citizens in the Philadelphia area, in addition to Lincoln University, Cheyney University, and Delaware State University, which are the historical Black colleges within that particular cluster. So we are really very, very excited about that. We're going to conduct some of the business of the Eastern area, and we're going to have workshops that help members grow in the area of programming and, again, enhancing and contributing to our communities. But I'm also a big believer that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so we're also going to have workshops that feed into our members and help support them in personal areas. There's a workshop on positivity, and there's another workshop on mindfulness, and then also in building soft skills that we hope that they can take into their personal and professional lives, like conflict resolution, effective communicating, and those sorts of things. and we're going to eat well. We're going to dance and have a good time. We have entertainers coming. Kindred the Family Soul is going to be the entertainment for Wednesday night in our opening ceremony. On Thursday, we have Kim coming. He has written a new book, and so we're going to have an afternoon with Kim where I'm so very fortunate to be able to interview him, and then he's going to sing us a medley of his songs, just a little bitty brief baby concert. And on Thursday night, the cluster is hosting an event, and it's a Taste of Philly. And so we're excited about that. And then Friday, we're having an old school party where DJ Jazzy Jeff, again, reigning from Philadelphia and old school, is going to be our DJ. And then we'll culminate Saturday evening with a gala, a formal gala, where Pieces of a Dream will be the entertainment. So we're going to do some work, but we are definitely going to have some fun.
What an incredible couple of days ahead, and I'm honored to be able to attend some of it. Looking forward to that, and VantageScore is also honored to sponsor this year's conference. Dr. Lomas, thank you so much for sharing some time today discussing the links, its incredible history, and important mission.
Thank you so very much for having me.
You cannot separate physical health and financial health. Whether it's the impact of medical debt and access to insurance, or the stress that financial struggles puts on a person's mental health, research also shows that financial health is actually a better predictor of physical and mental health outcomes than income alone. And the disproportionate impacts COVID-19 had on marginalized communities further validates this. Together, across industries, we must collaborate and develop strategies that can holistically improve both access to mainstream financial services and education, as well as healthcare. I'm thankful for the Links Incorporated for their great work in both of these areas. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Score. I'm Jeff Richardson, and I look forward to our next conversation.
The views and opinions expressed in this episode do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of VantageScore Solutions. Visit VantageScore.com to learn more.